Baby Pokemon suck, they are pointless and a waste of Pokédex slots. Hello Internet, I'm Charon, yet another Pokemon fan that decided to make videos about his smart-ass opinions on random Pokemon topics.
Big things have small beginnings.
So, Baby Pokemon. The concept was introduced with the second generation with Pokemon Gold and Silver as a result of the new daycare feature that has allowed us to breed Pokemon in every game since. And as the name suggests, Baby Pokemon are the baby-like lowest stages of certain evolutionary families that are usually obtained by breeding their higher stages. Most of them are lower stages of previously existing Pokemon that were added in a later generation, but it's not a requirement. The real distinguishing factor is that baby Pokemon cannot breed unless they evolve first, which is why the category includes Riolo and especially Togepi, who was like a mascot for the whole concept. So one common complaint is that some of them don't even add anything design-wise to the evolutionary family and are just smaller and cuter versions of already cute Pokemon. Like Cleffa for example. But that's by no means a rule. There are several baby Pokemon that add something fresh and unique to their family and make it more interesting. And not all of them are pre-evolutions of Pokemon that are already small either. In fact, taking Munchlax as an example, some of them are so justified that it makes you wonder how come they weren't already made initially, along with Snorlax in this case. I've often seen baby Pokemon referred to as a waste of deck spots, as if their existence prevented Game Freak from adding unrelated, possibly cooler designs. Oh damn, it's a shame we can't include this sick dragon Pokemon because the baby Pokemon have taken up all the space that we arbitrarily limited ourselves to. Said no Game Freak employee ever. And it's not like the concept has been overdone or anything. There's only 18 of them so far and they are vastly outnumbered in comparison to legendaries, mega evolutions, starters, fossil Pokemon. Well, I guess at least they aren't outnumbered by evolutions. So far. The next common complaint is that they are useless in terms of battles. Yes, you're not going to be using an Igglybuff in a championship battle, but you're not gonna use a Magikarp either. The point being that if you're gonna dislike baby Pokemon, you might as well dislike any not fully evolved Pokemon in existence for the same reasons. For example, they have shit stats. Yeah, so does Kirlia, who is an evolved form and is actually weaker than Bonsly. Baby Pokemon do tend to give access to one or two moves that their evolved form doesn't learn at all. Azurill and Meryl, for example, learn 7 different egg moves each. However, examples of actually noteworthy moves are rather scarce, and the only one that I can think of from the top of my head is Pichu learning Nasty Plot. So yeah, it mostly boils down to baby Pokemon thematically expanding an evolutionary family, but there is one important aspect that I think most people overlook. Baby Pokemon can expand early accessibility in your adventure. What I mean by that is that you can't put relatively strong Pokemon like Electabuzz or Magmar into the early routes, but since we have Elekid and Magby, those make perfect candidates, adding some elemental options early on in your journey, like was already the case in Black and White 2, where these two were version exclusive encounters in the grass near the second gym. There is one baby Pokemon that deserves special mention, and that's Tyrogue. It added a completely unexpected twist that we haven't seen done since. It took two counterparts, namely Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, and gave them a shared pre-evolution, but at the same time adding a third alternate evolution with Hitmontop. The most common suggestion for this idea that I've come across is people asking for a Tauros and Miltank baby Pokemon, but my personal favorite would be a shared pre-evolution for Pinsir and Heracross. Perhaps you could then find this young beetle Pokemon early on and then have it evolve and give extra meaning to a Pokemon you maybe wouldn't have cared about much otherwise. Personally, I'd like to see more of them in the future, and I hope Game Freak hasn't forgotten about this concept. I mean, I can think of plenty of existing Pokemon I'd want to see a pre-evolution of, say Onix, Absol, Tropius, Lapras or Skarmory. Don't tell me you're not curious what at least a few of them would look like. Oh, and actually, I've made some of these as Fakemon several years ago. They're still up in my DA gallery if you want to check those out, I'll put a link in the description. I do have a few issues with the concept as it is, however. Firstly, most of them need maximum friendship to evolve, and while the idea makes sense for the most baby-like ones, I feel like they shouldn't take nearly as long as regular friendship evolutions. An easy fix for that would be to increase their starting friendship. The other thing that bothers me are all the breeding incenses that are required to be held by a parent in order to produce the newly added baby Pokemon. I understand that this is due to Game Freak's obsession with consistency, but the execution is not the best. For one thing, it prevents you from using other breeding related herd items that have since been added, like the Destiny Knot. An elegant solution here would be to add an incense slot at the daycare and have you put the incenses there instead of giving it to Pokemon to hold. And of course there's the fact that they fill up your bag. But considering your bag also holds 17 Silvally discs and 48 Megastones, this isn't an issue exclusive to incenses anyway. Also, why not add some more general incenses that provide possibly some kind of beneficial effects for breeding or slightly affect the offspring in some way? That's pretty much everything I had to say about this topic. I hope you liked this video, and if you want you can leave a comment below on what Pokemon you would like to see pre-evolutions of, or whether you want to see more of them at all. See you next time when I'm gonna talk about another Pokemon topic that no one probably cares about.